What's up, wrestling fans? Stacy here, and we have another Big Five pay per view coming up, I guess. It's Money in the Bank, and I'm really excited because it seems like a pretty interesting card. I think the biggest thing going into this will probably be the Bloodline Civil War. So let's get right into it. And as usual, I start with non title matches. So we're starting with Cody Rhodes versus Dominik Mysterio. So starting off, it I don't know, it feels very weird because Dominik Mysterio has so much heat right now. Like, so much heat. And, like, I'd like to say that I think this is an obvious that Cody Rhodes will win, but I don't think it is. I mean, can you imagine the amount of heat Dominik Mysterio will get for beating Cody Rhodes? Can you imagine how much people will boo him if he beats Cody Rhodes? So, as much as I think it's disrespectful to say that Dominik Mysterio will win this match, I don't think it's impossible. But I don't want to bet against Cody Rhodes either, so I'm gonna have to say Cody Rhodes will win this match. I think it'll be really interesting should Dominik actually beat Cody Rhodes, because if you had told me this 3 years ago that Dominik Mysterio will probably beat Cody Rhodes on pay-per-view, I would probably laugh. Either way, I don't think I can bet against Cody Rhodes right now. I don't think he'll come back from that loss if he does lose. So I have to go with Cody Rhodes. So we have one of three title matches in this card, and this one is the Intercontinental title match between Gunther and Matt Riddle. This is one of the more obvious ones on this card. I don't really see Matt Riddle winning this match, and for me, the only way that you will take this title off of Gunther is if you actually just give him the World Heavyweight Championship, okay? I don't know who the champion's going to be at the time, but in a year or so, maybe, give him the World Heavyweight Championship. Let him beat whoever has that title, and then because you don't want him to keep two titles like you did with Roman Reigns, make him vacate it. Give him a month of defending both titles and let him vacate that title. I don't think anyone should ever beat him for this championship. But I also do want to see him in the main event scene. I do want to see him as a world heavyweight champion or a universal champion one day. I think Gunther will win this match. I do understand why Matt Riddle's in the story. I don't really see him ever beating Gunther for this title. If you've been on this channel for a while, you probably know by now that I don't necessarily like seeing Ronda Rousey in WWE. I don't like, as much as she was a good fit right in the beginning when she was doing the tag team stuff with Kurt Angle. I don't think she's grown as a character. But that being said, I think her and Shayna Baszler are probably currently the best tag team to move the women's tag team division for. I think that that title's best run was definitely the Boss and Hug Connection, or Bayley and Sasha Banks. Both of their runs were probably the best that this title has ever seen. Because they can't be champions anymore, I think Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey are a good fit. If there was ever anyone to move this belt forward and make it feel a bit more relevant, with some really good booking, it's probably Shayna and Ronda. Shayna and Ronda need to win this match. I want to see that killer instinct back in Shayna Baszler. I want NXT Shayna Baszler back, basically. I mean, that version of Queen of Spades was awesome. The women's Money in the Bank match. So, firstly, I don't understand why Trish is in this match. So, I think the only reason she's in this match is because they need more bodies for this match, and it will move her story with Becky forward. But it will be interesting to see how she is in a ladder match, as they keep saying it's her first ever ladder match, it's her first ever Money in the Bank. One person that does need to win this match, however, is Io Sky. There can be an argument that Selena Vega should win this. I know that WWE love the LWO at the moment, but I don't think it's Selena Vega's time. I think maybe after a year or two, after they've built her up a bit more, you can say she'll win Money in the Bank and she'll actually cash it in and she'll win it. My one thing about Money in the Bank, and surprisingly, there is only one thing that I have to really complain about, is that aside from Carmella, no one else has held this briefcase for longer than 24 hours. If Io Sky wins the Money in the Bank briefcase, I want her to at least hold it for longer than 24 hours. Hopefully for at least 100 days, because I want them to actually build it into the story. I want, even if they do some fake cash-ins like they did with Austin Theory, where she comes out and she doesn't actually cash it in, Io Sky's the person to do it. I don't necessarily want her to break up with Bailey now, but you can already see how big those cracks are forming within Damage Control. To be honest, it's not Damage Control's fault. I do think that they were booked pretty badly. Bailey's been booked into the ground recently. So, speaking of Bailey, she might not even be in this match because, if I remember correctly, she's supposed to have a match with Shotzi, and whoever wins that match goes into the Money in the Bank match. So Bailey might not even be in this match, which means that we might not see as much tension between her and Io. Maybe they'll have like a backstage segment. Maybe she could even try and convince Io to let her take her place in the match. That would be really interesting to see, but yeah, I think Io Sky needs to win this match. She needs to win this match. And I think a lot of people actually really want to see her win it. The men's Money in the Bank match. So there's an argument to be made for every single person in this match to win. We have Santos Escobar, who is really hot right now because the LWO is really hot. We have Ricochet, who should have actually won Money in the Bank a few times ago, but I don't know. It feels like they want to keep him in the mid card. There's Shinsuke Nakamura, who should never be in the mid card, but for some reason he is. Money in the Bank would be a way to fix that. Bronson Reed, he's a new talent who they're really big on, so I think there's a very high chance that he could win it. Damian Priest, there's so much to be said about Damian Priest, but he definitely deserves Money in the Bank. And finally, Logan Paul. My first thoughts on this, right, are you can't deny the fact that he is very, very talented in the ring. You definitely cannot deny that fact. The problem is I don't ever want to see him win Money in the Bank because I understand that WWE in terms of corporate are really high on him. WWE in terms of Nick Khan and Triple H are very high on him. But I really, really, really do not want to see this man win Money in the Bank. It's just because it feels like he hasn't paid his dues yet. It feels like he needs to go through a bit more within the industry before he gets another title shot. I do think in the future he might be a title holder. I just don't think it should be now. Also, the last time we had a 7-man match, a 7-man Money in the Bank match, Mustafa Ali was about to grab the briefcase and then Brock Lesnar came out and he won the match within 5 minutes. So I'm not very confident in this match just because I don't want to see Brock Lesnar win another Money in the Bank. I mean, it led to Boombox Brock, which was pretty funny, but in no story, in no universe, does Brock Lesnar ever need Money in the Bank to win a title. I am nervous that an 8th person is going to walk out of that locker room 5 minutes before the match ends and claim Money in the Bank. I do think Damian Priest should win this match. The reason for this being is that I think it will be really interesting to see how Judgment Day use the briefcase to their advantage to try and get more control over Raw. And it's really, really cool. I think he definitely deserves at least a title shot. I mean, I know we recently saw him get one against Seth Rollins, but I do think seeing Damian Priest cash in and be World Heavyweight Champion would be absolutely awesome. And that wouldn't take anything away from Seth either, so I want Damian Priest to win this match. Speaking of Seth Rollins is facing Finn Bálor for the World Heavyweight Championship. I know that Seth wants to see the Finn Bálor that he saw 7 years ago. I know that that's what Seth wants to see. But what I don't want to see is the Demon. I don't want to see the Demon in this match. I want it to just be Finn Bálor. I like that this Finn Bálor has some edge. I like that he's not just clean cut, I'm a good wrestler, that's why I deserve to be here. And That's what I think is going to do really well in this match. If it's just this new, edgy, ruthless Finn Balor against Seth Rollins, especially because we currently have the Seth Rollins who is the purest babyface you can actually find in the company right now. I never thought I would say that, but it is true. Like, aside from probably Cody, this is the best Seth Rollins babyface run we've ever seen in our lives. For that reason, I don't want to see the demon come into this match. I don't want to see Demon versus Seth not in this capacity, especially because this is a very, very different Finn Balor character to what we had 7 years ago. So I don't think Seth should lose the title anytime soon. I need him to go on a really long run to really solidify the fact that this is the top title on Raw, that this is a top title in WWE. So Seth Rollins can't lose this match right now. I do think we're going to have a very, very good match. I don't think you can have Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins and have a bad match. That's going to be interesting. And also, everyone in Judgment Day is doing their own thing at the moment, so I don't think any of the matches involving Judgment Day are actually going to have any interference. And yeah, I think Seth Rollins will still be the World Heavyweight Champion coming out of this match. And finally, we have the Bloodline Civil War, which is Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa versus the Usos. I never thought I'd see this day, to be honest. I don't think Solo is going to turn on Roman, not anytime soon. I think the big thing is going to be the role that Paul Heyman actually plays in this whole scenario. Because if we remember, Jay kept saying, if I am in, you are out. And the Usos recently just blamed Paul Heyman for all of the problems within the bloodline. You know, all of the manipulation, everything was blamed on Paul Heyman. So now, my big thing is, what does Paul Heyman do? What role is he playing in here? Is he the actual mastermind behind everything happening in the bloodline? I don't think we're going to answer any of those questions here. What I would like to see, and I think this is the only way Solo will ever turn on Roman, is if Roman goes way too far. If he just completely beats up the Usos, they're battered, they're bruised, they're bloody, and finally it clicks in Solo and he says, wait, those are actually my brothers. And he actually gives a spike to Roman instead. I think that will be a really great way to end off Solo's run within the bloodline. I don't actually know where everyone goes from here. And that's why I don't think this is ending anytime soon. I think we at least have one more match between these two tag teams, and I think for that reason, Roman and Solo have to win this match. What I do think will happen though is that if Roman and Solo win, I think Roman's actually going to keep trying to convince Jay and Jimmy to come back to the bloodline. That's pretty much how the show's going to end, is that he's going to keep saying, come back to the bloodline. They're going to keep saying no. And then we're going to maybe have like another tribal court or something, just to see how that resolves. The one thing I don't really want to see though is that there could be a possibility for Sami Zayn to come out and say, hey, look, you don't need to rejoin the bloodline. Maybe Jimmy and Jay look conflicted after they lose, and Sami will have to come in and save them. But I don't really want to see that happen unless we get another Kevin Owens freak out, because that would be quite funny, but I don't know, it'll feel like a step backwards in the story. Okay, so those are my predictions. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below.